Hello and welcome to Cosmonite Modding. This is the tutorial video for how to make basic blocks and other items in Minecraft, along with the behind the scenes of the making of the Cosmonite mod. So for this we'll be going into Eclipse and we'll be going and using, obviously we've got another folder already previously set up for Forge Mod Loader, and here is our files that we've already previously decompiled. So what we're going to be doing is just inside this blank area here, we're clicking and creating a new package, and we're going to call this, for this sake, we're going to call it cosmonite.common. Okay, we've now got our package created. We're now going to create a Java class and we're going to call it Cosmonite, and we now have our Cosmonite common file with our public class of Cosmonite. Okay, and here we're going to have to add a few lines of code. So for this, for me to actually save time, I've already actually pre-written some of it here in my Cosmonite mod, and what we first need is this, and I'm now going to explain it for you, and that has to go in between your packages, your package and your public class. So what it is at mod ID equals Cosmonite name equals Cosmonite version inside of brackets, and then on the next line you've got at network mod client side required equals true, server side required equals false. Now what this does is, obviously when you load up your mod, it'll show you your ID of your mod when you're in Forge Mod Loader, when you're on the main screen of Minecraft and all that, and it'll also let you log into the game with the mod installed, and if the server hasn't got it installed, you'll also still be able to log in. Excuse me. I'm still recovering from the flu. Okay, so obviously you're still seeing a few errors and stuff here at the moment. So if you just press Ctrl-Shift-O, it should import and get rid of those errors. And so at the moment we've imported the common mod and the network. Okay, so that's gotten rid of those errors there. The next part that we're now going to do to our file, if I go back, oops, got the server running still, is we're going to declare or neaten up the code, but first we're going to add this line in, which will be, why do I keep on clicking on that? Okay, this goes again after your public class file. Let me just neaten this up a little bit. Sorry about this. Okay, so where you've got your public class, we're going to come down inside of the brackets of the public class and we're going to add this in. Okay. Oh, actually I'll grab them both now so we can talk about them both. Okay, so in between the brackets, we'll just space it down a little bit. Okay, in between these brackets we're going to put in at pre-int public void int config, and then inside the brackets we're going to put capital FML installation event FCP, and then close the brackets. Then you've got your brackets for that event there. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. We'll just delete those ones there. Didn't mean to make an extra bracket. Yeah, if you've got two brackets there close together and you press enter, the space will create another bracket. And then we'll close that off, and then we'll do again int public void load FML installation event file, and then close the bracket. And actually I think there is a bracket missing there. Yeah, there was, there we go. Failed to copy the other bracket across. Okay, so and again you just Ctrl-Shift-O and it'll implement those and add the rest of it. So that's why I said don't worry about the other part, because it'll add all that in. So okay, now we've got the part of the code constructed. We'll now move on to the next part to actually, why the hell do I keep on clicking on that? Okay, we're going to ignore the proxies and everything for now. We're going to come down to actually registering our blocks. So what we're going to do, well, not so much registering our blocks, but we're going to inside that void load event. So inside of here we're going to put all the things that we're going to be doing, like registering blocks, block names, item names, recipes, smelting. All of that stuff is going to be happening pretty much in here. And we're also, whenever you create one of those, I've done it again, whenever you create one of those, you also need to create the public voids for them as well. So let me just see if I'm copying the right amount here. I might have to put brackets in the other section. I don't think I copied it over. Okay, so what we've got inside the next set of brackets. Okay, now we've got our public void registering block, which is what we've got written here, and then we just write it again here. And then the same thing for block names. We've got block names. For item names, we've got item names. I might just switch those around in the code so they're in the same order as what I've got written there. There we go, so now they're in the same order. We've got recipes, and we've got smelting, and smelting. Okay, so now that we've done all that, we'll notice that we're getting a couple of errors here because this has already got some other stuff. You wouldn't actually have these in there. These are not implemented yet. Just ignore these. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're actually going to add the loading and registry for our images for when we're going to put our items or blocks in the game. So to do that, it's just basically two simple lines of code, but I'll just copy it across with the heading as well, so let's keep things nice and neat. Okay, so again, we're going to put that inside your public void load, just underneath your smelting. We're going to add, okay, this is for your Minecraft Forge texture functions, and I've just put a double / in front of that just to so as I can make a heading in here to make things nice and neat. And what we've got, what I've typed in here is Minecraft with a capital M, Forge client with a capital F, capital C, preload texture with a capital T, and then inside brackets, inside quotations, the name of where the file is. In this case, remember I made that file called textures. If not, I made a file inside where I'm creating this file at the moment, and I called it textures and dropped that inside my minecraft.jar file. And so there's a file in there called textures, and inside that file it's got two PNG images, one for my items, one for my terrain pictures, and they're just two tile images, 256 by 256. Okay, and it doesn't know what this is, so we'll have to Control-Shift-O to implement that again, and it would have added some more at the top again, and that's gotten rid of all of our errors. So now that'll be creating our items. Let me just check how I'm doing for time here. Okay, still doing pretty good for time. Okay, so that'll load up your images as such. So now what we want to do is actually create the blocks. So we're going to grab the block, we'll do it both at the same time. We'll do a block and an item, so we're doing two things at once here, so killing two birds with one stone. So this goes at the top inside your public class, but before your pre-event. I'm pretty sure it goes before your pre-event. Yes, I am. So what we do is we just put a couple of spaces here. What we're going to do is just put some headings in to make it nice and neat. So this is for my blocks. So I've got public static block, and then the name of my block, which is Cosmonite Ore. Which I probably should do it the other way around and put Ore Cosmonite, but just for this case it's just Cosmonite Ore. And then for my item, I've got public static item ingot Cosmonite. Again, it doesn't know what block and item is, so just import those, Control-Shift-O. You want to import them from your Minecraft items, and you want to import that from your Minecraft net block.block. Okay, now we've got those two items declared, but we haven't actually registered the name for the block. So to register the name for the block, I've already got it typed in here. We're going to type in game registry with a capital G and a capital R, and then dot register block with a capital B, and then inside your brackets the name of the block that you registered up here. So we've got Cosmonaut Ore, so we write it Cosmonaut Ore, end it with a semicolon. Same thing for the item. Again, we're going to put it in the public void items, and to do that, instead we don't need to register the block. Now we're doing the actual adding of the name. The adding of the name is the same for the blocks as it is for the items, and it is written like so. It is written language registry dot add name. Now that's with a capital L, capital R, and a capital N, and then inside brackets you'll have the name of whatever you called it up here previously, and then a comma, and then inside quotations this is what it's going to appear in game. So it's going to appear as Cosmonite Ingot, but in the code it's referenced as Ingot Cosmonite, but in game when you're holding it in your hand you'll see it as Cosmonite Ingot. Okay, and then that's basically registered your blocks. Again, it doesn't know what these are, so Control I-O, and it should fix that up. Ignore that cross out there, and that'll add more files, more imports at the top. Now all we have left to do is to actually state what these blocks actually can do. Let me just check myself for timing. Okay, I'm going to have to hurry things up along here. Okay, what we're going to have to do is let's just quickly copy over these block statements here. So we're going to grab the block and the item. Now the reason why I'm doing both of these is to show you because they are slightly different. Now again, these are actually going in the actual public void load section. So in your public void load, you're going to put in at the top here, we're going to put in your ore or your blocks as such, and you're going to put in your item, so the ore name or the item name, and then equals, and then inside brackets new either block Cosmonite ore, because this is a block, or new item, Cosmonite items, and then give it an ID number. And then if it's a block, then you put a comma and then the reference number for what it is out of either 0 to 256 for whatever number it is on your tile texture. And for items you don't do that, you actually put that at the end. You put set icon chord, and then inside the brackets you put the coordinates. In this case it's 0, 0, which meaning the very first image on the list. And you've got, after that, you've got your set name and then the name of the item, and in this case it's ingot, and then set creative tab, and that's for your items. For the blocks you won't put your set creative tab, that comes in later on. And to fix the sound on the footstep, you put in dot block in front of the sound footsteps there. This is basically the same if you ever made a block before, it's pretty straightforward. You've got your set hardness, and then you've got your set resistance for its resistance against TNT and that sort of thing. It's not how hard it is to mine. This is in the set hardness is where it comes to mind. Then you set the block name. So the blocks and the items are a little bit different from each other, but pretty much the same. Now once you've done that, you'll notice you get 2 more errors. And if you just hover over them, it'll say create a class. You want to create the class for that, and just click finish. And hover over the next one, create a class for Cosmonite items, and click finish. And let me check how I'm doing for time. Okay, I got 1 minute left on the clock here, so we'll just quickly do this. What you want to do is inside your Cosmonite block and your Cosmonite item, you just want to add a few things here. So we're just going to add this in from my previous one. So Cosmonite item. Okay, so this is your Cosmonite common package. It's importing items.items. You'll get that from when you extend item. You'll need to import that from Minecraft.net, and then you'll type in the name of your item in public, and then in this case it's Cosmonite items, and then inside your brackets int par1, and then super par1 public string get texture file with your brackets, and then return, and then where you put your texture, like I said before on the other file. So in this case textures /mod items.png. Similar thing for your block, and we'll get to that in the next